And welcome back to the sports scene. You know, the Star Ledger calls it the greatest high school football game ever played. The year was 1990. Montclair came in #1 in the state. Randolph was #2 with a 48-game win streak. Of course, 17 days before, the great John Bauer Sr., head coach of Randolph, had passed away. But his son, John Bauer Jr., took the helm. Here we go on a sports scene close-up with a look at the game with Steve Tober.
It was one of the most improbable finishes in the history of high school football in New Jersey as Randolph's Mike Rowe put his foot into the ball and connected on a 37-yard field goal as time expired. The Rams won 22-21 over Montclair, and the Randolph Rams had emerged victorious in the Battle of Unbeaten, setting a then-state record 49-game winning streak. We're at John J. Bauer Memorial Stadium, named for the man, the legend, who died 17 days before the greatest game ever played, Montclair-Randolph. The players carried on. His son carried on as head coach. And the man himself, probably watching with that victory cigar in his mouth and the big football field in the sky.
The primary concern was just making sure that the young people who we were with, were able to finish what my father had begun. I mean, that was our primary concern. Their legs were cut out from under them, and it's hard to really fathom how a 15 to 17-year-old is going to react under those circumstances.
He told us that there was no one bigger than the program, and he as one person was just an integral part of the entire unit. And with that one person gone, the rest of us coaches and players were able to pick up on his behalf and keep things going without him. So to speak, he wasn't there, but we played with him in our hearts.
The kids just took the situation and handled it extraordinarily well. They said that, listen, he may have passed on, but we know what he needed us to do. And, basically they went out and did it. And the coaches came together, the kids came together, and we just had one goal in mind.
As Montclair quarterback Lamont Ponton took a knee on 3 successive downs, the Mounties felt they could run out the clock, clinging to a 21-19 lead. But when the clock operator inadvertently ran the scoreboard clock down to 0, the Montclair fans stormed the field. When the clock was reset, the referee said 7 seconds remained, when the Montclair coaching staff felt only 4 ticks should have been left. The difference in seconds proved crucial.
The focus has always been on the 3 seconds, as opposed to one way or the other. And I think it's quite unfortunate, because when you look at that film, it is a brilliant display of football. And I marvel at how well the kids were able to execute.
It was fate. I mean, everything had to happen perfectly, and it did. If you try to really explain it, you just can't do it. And you don't want to explain it. You just want to live with the fact that there was a miracle there.
To see that thing change around, and then you go from disappointment to that jubilation. It wasn't planned. It was just letting out that emotion. And fortunately, you guys caught it on film. So that's my claim to fame, so to speak.
He had always said that regardless of what takes place with any one of us, the next man steps up and moves in, and everybody gathers around that person and gets it done. That's probably the most important thing that you have to try to do. Get a kid to believe and get him to respond in that way. And that's what he got these kids to do. And I don't care whether you talk to Kevin Bray or Mike Rowe, any of those kids who played in that team, that's the thing that they remember the most. They felt that they could do it, and they did.
Perhaps it can be said that John Bauer Sr. had his ultimate moment in the sun as he watched from somewhere we can only imagine up above.
I remember saying to myself, I hope he's allowed to enjoy this, whatever the situation is, and whatever takes place in the afterlife. I hope he's allowed to enjoy this, and I have to think that he was.
Yes, it was a game that is forever etched in the history of New Jersey football. That'll just about wrap up this edition of the Sports Scene. We wish you a happy and healthy New Year season as we